Hello children, a very good morning to all my dear students. Today we are going to start evolution of computers. This is chapter 1 of class 5 CBSE book. But before we start the chapter, I would like to ask each one of you, what is the thing that makes you happy? The answer is growth. If we are not growing, we will never be happy. Right, children? Would you like to study in the same class for another 1 year? No, because you are not growing. Similarly, computers have also grown through different stages. It has different generations. In this chapter, we will be learning about different generations, how a computer evolved. But before we start the journey or the history of computer, let me first share with you from where the name computer is derived. Computer is derived from the word compute because it was first invented for calculation and it was only used for addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. But today we see computers in all aspects of our life. It is extensively used in banks, hospital, media, entertainment industries, schools, homes, space technology, railway, airports and so on. But the first starting point of the history of computer was in 3000 BC. Abacus was the first mechanical device which was used for calculating addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Abacus was invented and developed in China. As you all can see, in our many primary schools we have the abacus machine in our pre-primary sections. It is made up of a wooden frame with rods in each side having beads. The frame is divided into two parts. First part is known as heaven and the second part is known as the earth. Each rod in heaven has 2 bits and each rod in earth has 5 bits. The device is extensively used for addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. This was the first device which was developed by China, and based on this, different other machines were developed and which gave birth to today's generation computer. Pascal adding machine. This machine was invented by Blaise Pascal in the year 1642. He was a French mathematician. When he invented this adding machine, he was just 19 years old. Pascal adding machine was the first mechanical calculator. It was capable of doing addition and subtraction. The numbers were displayed by rotating the wheels. A perfect example of this device is taximeter, which we can see currently also in the taxis. Right, children? Next machine is Lipschitz calculator. This calculator was advanced version of Pascal adding machine. It was improved by a German mathematician. It can do addition and subtraction, which the Pascal adding machine was also capable. In addition to this, it is also capable of doing multiplication, division and finding square roots. So unlike Pascal adding machine, which was capable of only adding and subtraction, Lipschitz calculator was an improvement over the Pascal adding machine and it is capable of doing addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and finding square roots. So this is simply an improvement over Pascal adding machine. Right, children? Now we will be learning about difference engine and analytical engine. Both these two engines was invented by Charles Babbage. Charles Babbage was a British mathematician and he is considered as the father of computers. He invented difference engine in the year 1822 and after 10 years, in the year 1833, he invented the analytical engine. Analytical engine had 5 units: input, output, store, mill and control. Today's generation of computer also have these units. Store was used to store data, mill was used for calculation and control was used for supervising all the units. Augusta Ada Lovelace was considered as the first programmer who suggested binary data storage. We all know what is binary digits, zeros and ones, which the computer understands. She was an English mathematician. After this, there was a great development in the history of computer. The design of computer circuit was done by an English mathematician named Mr. George. He developed a binary system in which the positive answer was given as 1 and the negative answer was given as 0. Dr. Harman, who was an American statistician who invented the tabulating machine. This helped in reading the data, processing it, and giving desired output. Soon after this, John von Neumann developed a software based on binary code. He joined hands with Eckert and John Macaulay and developed EDVAC machine in the year 1950 based on the binary code. EDVAC stands for Electronic Discrete Variable Automatic Computer. In the year 1944, Mark I was developed by Howard Aiken. This machine was the first automatic sequence controlled calculator. In the year 1946, a general purpose electronic digital computer was developed by J.P. Eckert and John Macaulay. It was named as Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. It consists of 18,000 vacuum tubes and was 1,000 times faster than Mark I. It could add two large numbers in 200 microseconds. Year 1951, the first world's commercial computer was available and it was named as UNIVAC 1. It was also designed by J.P. Eckert and John Macaulay. It was the first computer to handle both numeric and text data. Soon after this, the generation of computers started to begin. Of computer, first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth and there are 5 generations of computer. First starts from the year 1940 to 1956. The second generation starts from 1956 to 1963. The third generation starts from 1964 to 1971. Fourth generation starts from 1971 to 1980. And the fifth generation is a future generation, which is the artificial intelligence or AI. Let's study the generations one by one. We will be studying the generations on the basis of circuit which they used, data input operation, data output operation, external storage, language, and we will have an example for each generation. The first generation used vacuum tubes as a circuit. As we can see in the picture, they use vacuum tubes. The data input operation which was used in this generation was punch card, and the data output operations was also punch card. So both the data input and output operations of generation 1 was punch card. The external storage which they used was magnetic tapes, and the language which they used was machine assembly. So children, in the first generation we know that it used vacuum tubes. Both input and output operations was done by punch cards. The external storage was magnetic tapes. Language which was used was machine and assembly language. And one of the biggest example of generation 1 computers are UNIVAC, which we have learnt in our previous slide. Coming to the second generation, instead of vacuum tubes, the second generations of computers used the circuit as transistors. First generation used vacuum tubes, second generation started using transistors. But the input and output operations of first generation and second generations were both punch cards. But yes, in the second generation they had an additional input operation which was a magnetic tapes. The external storage of both generation 1 and generation 2 were magnetic tapes. The language of second generation was Fortran, COBOL and Basic PL1 language. IBM 1400 and 700 series were an example of second generations of computers. Generation of computers started using the integrated circuit. This was the first generation which started using keyboard and monitor. So in which generations children we started using keyboard and monitor? It was in the third generation. And during this generation we started using the integrated circuit. The external storage was magnetic tapes. Instead of magnetic tapes, we started using magnetic disc. First generation and second generation used magnetic tapes. Third generation started using magnetic disc. And the language was similar like the second generation, Pascal, Fortran and COBOL. Apple I was a third generation computer. So Apple I came in the third generation of computer. And this was a third generation was the first time when keyboard and monitors were used and Apple was introduced. The fourth generation of computer is the microprocessor, the computers which we used in today's generation. From 1971 to 1980, these computers are still in use. The input processors were keyboard, mouse, scanner. The outputs are monitors, speaker and printer. The external storage are magnetic disk with high capacity. The language which they use are C++ and Ruby. Of fourth generation of computer is Apple, IBM PC and Macintosh. This were the till today most of the computers we are using is a fourth generation computer. The fifth generation of computer is the AI, and these are used on optical fiber technology which understands human speech, recognize and patterns. One of the biggest example of AI is Alexa and Siri. We give Alexa the command, which is an artificial intelligence which understands human speech, recognizes our patterns and give us the output. So even in Google search we give say voice search, like I want to know about history of computers. So we go to the search button and we just pick out. So AI is able to understand a human speech, recognize the patterns and give us an output. These are the 5 generations of computers. If we do a recap, we can see that in first and second generation, punch cards were used as input and output. In the third generation, keyboard and monitor started coming, which was also continued in the fourth generation with this scanner as an input and speaker and printer as an output. Fifth generation, which is new generation, which has been used in optical fiber technology and it understands human speech. So children, we understand the 5 generations of computer in this form of a table. It will be easy for each one of us to learn and understand it properly. The next type of computers are the mini computers. These computers are bigger in size than the microcomputers. They have a very high processing speed and it is much costlier than microcomputers. The number of users can vary from 4 to 200 users at the same time. They are used in banks, universities and any other big organizations. One of the example of mini computer is PDP-8. After this type of computer, we have another type of computer which is named as mainframe computers. These computers are very powerful. They are big in size with large memory and high speed. They are designed to tackle huge amount of data. Here it can vary the users from 100 users and it can simultaneously give service to 100 users. Mainframe computers are used in large business organizations, universities, banks, scientific laboratories, airline, ticket reservation, etc. IBM Z series is an example of mainframe computers. The last type of computers are the supercomputers. As the name says, supercomputers, these computers are very powerful and have a high processing speed. These computers are used for weather forecasting, space research and satellite control. Example of supercomputers are Param ETA-110. Thank you children. We finished the chapter Evolutions of Computer. Thank you for watching the channel and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There are different types of computers with respect to size, speed, storage capacity and cost. Computers can be classified into different types. Microcomputer is the first type of computers. These computers are desktop, laptops and tablet computers which we can see in day-to-day life. Desktop computers we see in school normally, laptops at home, at offices, tablets in different computer which is in the more bigger than a size of a phone. These computers are small in size and it costs less. They are usually designed for personal use, like we use at home, which is personal, and they are also called personal computers. They are mainly used in homes, schools, offices, shops, banks, etc. Let us now discuss desktop computers, laptop computers, and tablet computers. Desktop computers are commonly seen in schools, which we are using. These computers are designed to fit comfortable on top of our desk. That's why it is known as a desktop computers. Laptop computers are small in size and can be placed on lap. These are battery operated and portable. Portable means we can move from one place to another. But desktop computers are fixed. It cannot be moved from one place to another. Tablet computers. These computers are smaller and lighter than laptop computers. Common tablets have 7-inch to 10-inch screens. Tablets can be used to browse web, play games, emails, listen to music, watch movies, read ebooks, and also it can start many applications. The next type of computers are the mini computers. These computers are bigger in size than the microcomputers. They have a very high processing speed and it is much costlier than microcomputers. The number of users can vary from 4 to 200 users at the same time. They are used in banks, universities, and any other big organizations. One of the example of mini computer is PDP-8. After this type of computer, we have another type of computer which is named as mainframe computers. These computers are very powerful. They are big in size with large memory and high speed. They are designed to tackle huge amount of data. Here it can vary the users from 100 users and it can simultaneously give service to 100 users. Mainframe computers are used in large business organizations, universities, banks, scientific laboratories, airline, ticket reservation, etc. IBM Z series is an example of mainframe computers. The last type of computers are the supercomputers. As the name says, supercomputers, these computers are very powerful and have a high processing speed. These computers are used for weather forecasting, space research, and satellite control. Example of supercomputers are Param ETA-110. Thank you children. We finished the chapter Evolutions of Computer. Thank you for watching the channel and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel.